I was a little nervous and hesitant about sharing my testimony of the Fresh Start process because it was a really difficult situation to go through, and to be honest, I was very ashamed at first, but then I was hit with a conviction that this doesn't have hold of me anymore, and I know that I can joyfully share the healing that Christ has brought me through this situation and through this process. When I was a young girl, I was sexually taken advantage of by somebody very close to me, and I had never told anybody, not even my parents for that matter, because I was too afraid of the consequences of his actions and just an overwhelming sense of guilt and shame. It was really difficult for me at first to put into words how I felt verbally because I had never done that before, but when I was honest with myself and with God, He'd revealed so much just resentment and anger that I built up in my heart. Going into this study, I felt ashamed, unclean, victimized, and the list goes on and on. But by the end of it, I wasn't blaming God for what He put me into. I was praising Him and thanking Him for what He brought me out of. The Fresh Start program wasn't just some 12-step program to go through to make your life better. It was scripture that takes you through every single step to free you from what you've been dealing with. Like I said before, when I started this, I had so much resentment and anger built up in my heart, and through the process, God changed my heart. He softened it, and now I can give Him thanks for what He brought me through. And I'd like to read a little bit of my letter that I wrote to God. I'm so grateful to have gone through the forgiveness study because it's changed my life and the way that I deal with my wounds and hurts. The verse that stuck out to me through this whole thing was Psalm 62:8. Trust in Him at all times, O people. Pour out your hearts to Him, for God is our refuge. Going through this process, God was so faithful to not only reveal the hurts, but my response and my actions and even the state of my heart due to this wound. I really hope that everyone can just pour out their heart to Him and reveal those wounds that they have been hiding for so long, because He is so faithful to redeem us from what's been bonding us for such a long time. It's not just about forgiving and forgetting. It's about revealing these things to the Lord and Him showing you wrongdoings that you may have done in response to this. It's about getting your heart right with God. I think that everybody should go through this. It's a necessity. If you want to be freed from what you've been dealing with for so long, and you want to be free in those relationships that you have, I think it's such a smart decision to go through something like this. Through this process, it has given me such a different perspective on life and my relationships. It's not just about what I went through. It's not just about, oh, it was so awful. It's anything. Any type of wound or hurt can drastically change your relationships and the way you view life. I think it's such a smart decision for everybody to go through this because it brings so much freedom and so much just joy in the spirit to be able to say that something doesn't affect you anymore. Whatever the person said to you doesn't affect you, or whatever hurt was done to you, it doesn't affect you anymore. My life since I've been through the Fresh Start series has been just completely different. I have a whole new perspective on what it means to have a relationship with Christ, to give everything up to Him. I just hope and pray that you all see how important it is to go through these steps of complete freedom. And it doesn't matter how big or how small the wound is, there's nothing that Christ can't take you out of.